All right, Lily, let's take a look at your paper, MLA format first. This is correct, except it's not the same font size as the rest of the paper, so you'll want to change that. This is all correct, Harlem Harmony. I actually kind of like that title, so I'll let you keep it. One thing I'd love for you to work on, Lily, as you go through your writing and as you look at revision, as you look at writing for the test, is I really want you to think about sentence fluency, because a lot of these sentences are really structured awkwardly, so as you're reading them, there's a lot of times I had to kind of stop and really think about what I was reading. So let's even look at the first one. Does the place in which a person grows up, so obviously you have some confusion there with verb agreement. Does the place in which a person grows up have a large influence on their identity? So words like large, aren't kind of words that I want you to use in AP. And that doesn't mean just like gigantic. I mean, even changing the tone of the word as you think about the influence. And even the question itself is, it's one of those, duh, of course it does. Like, I don't know if there's really a good answer that you want out of that. I'd ask a more controversial, maybe for lack of a better word, controversial question, or one that's more open-ended than that. All right, so I'm going to have a problem with the idea of a unity tone. I don't think that's really an emotion that you're going to have I know you bring up unity down here, which is why I really don't think it fits up here. Objective is fine, but you got to find another tone word here. The tones reflect how understanding the speaker is of the teacher's point of view. Obviously, you got a mistake here. That's possessive. And how he isn't bitter about any discrimination that he had encountered in the past. Maybe a little too factual here. I'd love to maybe slim this down a little bit and maybe make it more, stream it to a more exact concept. This seems kind of all over the place. As the speaker goes on, we can see that he believes that even though he and his instructor are completely different, they're learning from each other, and that this just seems like a long sentence. And again, that he's what will stay with him for. I mean, you're just kind of summarizing the poem right now, and I'd love to see a little bit more depth to your writing. If this is your thesis, it needs to be underlined. So Langston Hughes uses detail, point of view, and diction to emphasize the importance of location and unity in the poem. So what is the importance of location and unity? Why is it significant? That is your thesis statement. When you don't have a strong thesis statement, you don't have a strong analysis in your body, and I'm seeing that with a lot of your classmates. So as we go throughout this, you're gonna see that show up quite a bit as we look at your body paragraphs. All right, Lily, you're falling into a common beginner AP trap here, and that is lack of depth. So your author's use, again, you have of possession there, signifies the depends the occasion can have on one's identity. Well, you basically kind of just said this up here, so you need a much more thorough topic sense here. Your examples, though, are really good examples of detail. So detail is more factual. So he walks through here to here to here to get to where he's going. So he obviously has to travel far. He eats, sleeps, drinks, works, read, learn. And I think this is probably not the best example for detail, but I like that concept. And you can summarize this maybe a little bit instead of using a direct quote. So I think your examples are really good. Here's where you're falling down. You're getting to all the way to here before you even start to kind of talk about analysis. So you're getting all the way here, got a space issue here, and at that point, as soon as we get here, you all of a sudden jump into the transition to the next one. You've not talked about the depth at all to detail. Yes, he uses this detail. Yes, apparently location is important, but what is it telling you about him? What is it telling you about him as a speaker? What is it telling you about him as the narrator? That's what we got to see in here, is the significance of that. Not just that he does it, but why does he do it? And this is kind of getting to it, but again, you're not diving deep into it. So we gotta make things deeper and really try to extend our knowledge of it. and make it some universal truths. We just talked about that the other day. Maybe some more universal things. Again, weak transition. Point of view of the poem also helps emphasize the importance of the location the person grows up in. That's just kind of a restatement of the rehash of the thesis statement. Okay, unity and understanding. I'm still not seeing, I didn't see anything about unity in this one, or understanding either, location and unity. I guess you didn't have to talk about understanding in the last one, but this is, I would say that this is more detail too. Like his age is an example, or he's 22 colored. I mean, that's detail. These are details. Where he went to school is detail. So I don't know if this works as a first point of view concept. Now, that doesn't mean just put I, but what is the significance of using the first person point of view in your writing, and talk more about that and maybe less about some different examples. Again, you have some problems with spacing. There's no space right there. You have problems with when you have end punctuation at the end, it goes inside the quotes. So make sure you shove it into there. And again, you don't have, growing up, we can infer that he experienced discrimination, especially knowing the cities he grew up in. Why would we infer that? You need to mention that. This is, again, you're starting to get into analysis, but you don't have anything to back it up. But to show that he isn't defined only by what he looks like or where he grew up. How do we even get that out of what you've given to us as examples? I don't think you've explained that enough to really make that a serious point. So as we look forward, the speaker continues to emphasize the importance of unity throughout the poem with the use of diction. So now we're getting into our diction. And again, I want to see more than, I mean, this is the exact same wording as your last transition. You just filled in a different word for it. So I think you really need to work on a more varied transition. One thing you did in the first body paragraph that you haven't done in the last two is you need line numbers as well as in-text citation. In a paragraph about diction, remember diction deals with the connotative meaning of words. What is the emotional appeal of words? So things like a part of me, I don't think that would be a good example of addiction. Maybe if you talked about white and the connotation to that, American would be good. You could talk about the connotation to that. And again, end punctuation goes inside there. And then punctuation goes inside there. Even though they may not be part of each other because it's structure, blah, 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 there's a comma there. So you got a few comma errors that we need to go back and address. He recognizes that they will always be the same. Again, this is all factual. There's nothing deeper that you're looking at the poem. You're just giving us the facts, as they say in the old newspaper business. So you need to dive deeper into what the diction is actually emphasizing, the equality that he feels. And I don't think you've hit that yet. So in your conclusion, you have the importance of unity, blah, blah, blah. So that needs to be underlined again. We got this. You could probably even repeat it in here and kind of kill two birds here. At first, we see how the location of the speaker's school, again, we need to go back and look at apostrophes, Lily, and where he grew up impacts his identity and views, so we don't need that comma there. You have a period here, but no capitalization there. As we get to the middle of the poem, there needs to be a comma there. He goes into more detail about how he's no different from his instructor and fellow students, even though he's the only colored student in the class. At the end of the poem, comma, when you have two prepositional phrases to start off a sentence, you need a comma in there, two or more. His instructor are different in age and color. He emphasizes no comma there. So go back and look at some punctuation here, Lily. They're both part of each other, and what he's writing will stay with his instructor. Again, you're just rehashing what you said in the body. So there's no real clincher at the end here. You're missing that last statement that kind of summarizes everything. So you're going to have to add that in. This all looks good for MLA citation. So more emphasis on analysis, Lily. Definitely need to go back and look at punctuation, and a little bit of better thesis statement will drive this paper better. So good luck on the rewrite.